going on, DDP? How you doing, man? Welcome to Alchemist Radio. You're on the line with Mitch Ciccarelli and Brian Levick. How you doing tonight?
Unstoppable, brother. I'm having an awesome day. Awesome day. I had been back and forth with HBO Real Sports, Brian Gumbel's show that he's got.
Yep.
Right.
And they're coming down here this weekend to film DDP Yoga, the Accountability Crib. We got interviews set up with Jake and Scott, and probably even Cody, too. Scott's kid, Cody's a great kid. And just all what we're doing down here in the ATL, on DDP TV. I hear you guys watch some of our YouTubes on DDP TV. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
we were watching them last night. Great stuff. I mean, what you did for those guys is just remarkable. I mean, you got them back on the right path. Those are two guys that fans have always looked up to, and when they were in their low points, fans were begging for them to turn things around, and you've helped them do it, and they're making incredible progress. So I'm definitely a big fan of what you're doing, and those videos are pretty cool.
Well, Jake the Snake Roberts is an icon. He's probably, you think of Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, Macho Man, Jake the Snake, that's Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair. Those are the top icons of the 80s, And Jake was a mentor to me. He helped me, very early in my career, and he stuck with me and mentored me over a period of years. And I don't think without Dusty Rhodes, there would have never been a Diamond Dallas Page. He believed in me big time in the beginning of my career and mentored me in a business end. But Jake mentored me in the ring, and I never would have been a top guy without him. So it was, over the years I'd helped him, out financially or whatever. And there's only so many times you can give a guy a fish. At some point you got to go, hey, dude, look at this fishing pole I got. Let me show you how to use it. You know how to use one of these things. It's a different pole, though, and then I, just got him going, and, he's been completely cocaine and crack-free for over 9 months, and not even a longing to go back to that world. I think he's so thankful to be out of it. Alcohol and completely booze-free. He's up on day, I don't know, it's 43 or 44 today right now, meetings and days. He fell a couple times. He fell like 3 times over 9 months, So, I don't look at it when someone, loses like a day, they don't lose everything, And I just reached out to him and helped him. He's doing so great right now. I think, it's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up again and how you help someone get back up. You don't always lift them. You help them up some of the way, and then they get themselves up some of the way. And then the same thing with Scott. Scotty's doing amazing. And they both do DDP yoga. They do, it's because anybody can do it, and it can be as easy or as challenging. So it all works,
Well, that's awesome, man. And, we definitely thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us tonight. It's funny. I grew up a huge pro wrestling fan, and I started watching in the early to mid-'90s. When you first started getting big in WCW, and my mom, when she found out I was going to be talking to you tonight, she was flipping out. She's like, oh, my God, DDP? You remember when you were 6 and I got you that DDP action figure for Christmas and had to drive to like 6 different stores and stand in line for hours? So you ungrateful bastard? No, I was kidding. My mom is crazy, but I love her. She's actually getting some surgery done right now, so I want to give her a quick shout-out. Love you, Mom. But anyway, followed your career for a long time, so when I saw that DDP Yoga was blowing up, becoming huge, I wasn't surprised at all because passion creates success, and anytime I've ever watched you on TV, that's the one thing that always stuck out to me was the insane amount of passion that you have. So that being said, talk to us about DDP Yoga, man. How did this all come about?
Really by necessity. I was a guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. Just like, when then someone goes, you're doing yoga, I go, yeah, I get it, me too. I was like, yoga. But, I didn't start wrestling until I was 35. My professional wrestling career did not take off until I was 40. And that's like that was 1996. Wrestling blew up huge. And so did Diamond Dallas Page. It was an amazing ride. And Scott Hall had a lot to do with that because him and Kevin Nash gave me that boost when nobody dropped anybody in the NWO. I was the guy. So I had helped Scott Hall create his character, his whole look, everything when he got back, when he really got his break in the 90s. And then he went and became Razor Ramon with that character. And then when it was my time to get the break, he gave me that shot in the 90s, and my career blew up. In 97 and 98, I was on top of the world, and then bang, I blew my back out. I blew my back out badly that 3 doctors, 3 specialists told me I'd never wrestle again. Now, I just signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal. I was devastated. So when it was brought to me to try yoga, like I said earlier, I was like, yoga? I ain't doing yoga. But, the reality, it's all I could do. That and the rehab. And I started to mix the rehab and the yoga, and I was blown away by how much it helped me in the first 3 weeks. And then I started adding old school calisthenics. Everybody's done them, push-ups, squats, crunches, but I did them with a slow burn movement. And then I added something I call dynamic resistance. And all that means is it's the flexing or engaging of muscles as you move from one position to another. Nobody does that. No yoga, no workout, nothing. The closest you get to it is lifting weights. And what I found out is every time you flex or engage a muscle, your heart has to beat faster to get the blood to the muscle. So what I created, and I say completely by accident, I mean completely by accident, I created a workout that was kick-ass cardio, would dramatically increase your flexibility and your core strength with minimal joint impact. And that's the key, minimal joint impact in kick-ass cardio. So I created this workout. In less than 3 months, I was back in the ring. At 42, they said my career was over. At 43, I was a heavyweight champ of the world. So I'm going to keep doing that,
Well, DDP, this is Brian Levick, and I was listening to you over the past week or so. You did two segments with Stone Cold on his podcast, and just listening to the stories, and I actually happened to be on Twitter one night after work after I had listened to part 2, and I saw something that you had tweeted, and I went onto your Twitter page, and it said to contact this guy to get you on. I hit him up. He responded immediately, and so here we are a couple days later. But it's certainly an honor to have you on. Mitch and I were watching some of your videos last night, and I got to tell you, I'm a 38-year-old man, and I'm not afraid to say that I was, my emotions were drawn out of me. There was one particular video of you and Jake. You got a text from the 123 kid X-Pac. And you called Scott Hall, and you could tell he was not in good shape. And you two sat there with him for however long you talked to him. It was a 9-minute video, and you got him to agree to come down. And look at him now. Part 2 of his interview was on today with Stone Cold, and the difference is amazing. What was the first step in getting him back on the right path? I mean, I don't imagine that he was in your house the first day doing exercises. He couldn't have been in great shape.
No, I mean, more than anything, when Scott got there, oh God, that video, that interview, us talking, was so real because everything that happens in my place is real. We don't set anything up. It's just like, let's just live life and film it. And when Scott finally got to the crib, he couldn't do anything, and he was in so much pain because of his hip was totally dislodged. It was like the doctor, the hip specialist, said it was the worst hip he'd ever seen. Had no idea how he was walking around on it and limping around on it. Like it just had crutches. That's how bad it was. And, he was up to close to 300 pounds. He was bloated, discolored. The first thing I did was start to put real food in him. And when I say real food, I talk about that your great-great-grandparents ate. Food that was not genetically modified. Do you guys know what GMO is?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Nasty stuff.
You know, and it's what everybody eats, genetically modified organisms, genetically modified food. We don't have any of that in my house. Everything that we have here is real food, and it tastes amazing. I got Scott to watch Food Inc. movie everyone should watch. Everyone. I got him to watch Genetic Roulette, so we could see how they genetically change the structure of food, and it's effed up. It is so bad. It's why our obesity and cancer and all these, what's this, allergies. Tell me when you guys were a kid you knew someone who had a peanut allergy. What? Are you serious? Now kids don't have one allergy. They have pages of allergies.
Nobody was lactose intolerant?
It's everything, the milk, the wheat, the corn, the soy, none of it's real. Unless it's from Farmer Joe or says organic, it's not real. So I got him to watch that, and it really made him go, whoa. And he watched Food Inc. again, twice, just to know, because you got to be knowledgeable. And just by changing what he was eating, he started to feel better, but there was a lot of pain in the hip. So we'd already done an Indiegogo to help raise money, because neither one of the guys have insurance. They both were dropped. Well, Jake wasn't dropped. He just didn't pay because he didn't have any money. But Scott was dropped. So neither one of them had insurance. So for Jake's, for Scott's hip, we put up a thing, and saying he'll give signed pictures and, make phone calls. And he's still working on them, man. There's so many to make, because people aren't there or whatever. But he's still working on all that, T-shirts and all that stuff. And, raised enough money to get his hip surgery done. Now, he's like a completely different guy. We've worked out the last 4 out of 5 days, and he's still got the heart. He's got the pacemaker in there. And
I have one too. I've had it since
drinking
I was 3.
the way he was drinking, he should have died. But he's stronger than that. And the bottom line is he was on 15 medications when he got here. He just left
That's
2 weeks
crazy.
ago, him and his son Cody. They live 2 blocks from me or a quarter of a mile from me because they're still here all the time. But he wanted to get out on his own and start, living his life. But at the same time, he's working out with me. We do privates right now because he's not ready for the class yet because, the heart, the pacemaker, all that stuff. He started on 15 medications. He's down to 4.
That's amazing.
His goal is to get done. Well, of course, right? Yeah. And, he's not taking, he don't take any pain pills. He don't take anything because he knows they all lead to someplace he don't want to be. And, he's working with his son. We're all working with Cody, here and there, trying to get in the ring with him and work out with him a little bit and teach him a little bit. And he does, the indie scene, and Scott goes with him. And, I seen, Scott get his family back, his kids. They love, they have a relationship with their dad again. It's like, and Jake too, he's got a relationship with his kids again. It's awesome, man. It's what a positive attitude, surrounding yourself with positive people that don't want to pull you down. I call it emotional gravity. Like nobody can pull you down more than you. And if you're hanging around people that are a bunch of negative SOBs, get away from them. Get with people, like-minded people. And I created this workout out of necessity. You guys seen the disabled veteran I helped, right? The video of the disabled veteran?
No, I haven't
seen that one yet.
Seriously?
I got to check it out.
It's got almost 10 million views.
Wow. I'll be checking that out as soon as we're off.
This is a guy who... This is why Jake said, well, God, if he can do it, and Scott was like, oh, my God. If he can have that transformation, what could I do? And this guy was 5'6", 297, disabled veteran from the Gulf War. He was a paratrooper. And for those people who don't know, paratroopers drop 10 to 15 feet a second.
Yes,
and they're carrying on their backs anywhere between 50 to 200 pounds. So add that to 10 to 15 feet a second when they make impact on the ground. Any paratrooper's got 10 to 20 jumps, and I'm not talking about sport jumps. I'm talking about from the ground as fast as possible. Any one of those guys are going to be hurting later on. Even if they weren't athletes, they're going to be hurting from not beating up their body. The bottom line is this guy had over 500 jumps. He was sent home from the Gulf War permanently disabled. Knees, back, ankles, hips, the whole deal. He walked with knee braces and a back brace. Took him 20 minutes to put it on every morning, the combination. And with the wraparound canes, he walked with them for 15 years. Day one, he started 297 pounds. I put him on a real food eating plan. Notice I don't use the word diet. What's the first three letters of the word diet?
Die.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me a diet that works. They don't. Lifestyle changes work. This guy, Arthur Borman, over 10 months with a nearly zero, minimal joint impact workout because he couldn't walk, never mind run, but kick-ass cardio. This guy loses 140 pounds in 10 months, but more importantly, loses the knee braces, the back brace, and the canes. That video is completely shot and edited by his son, who did all the shooting of it, and it is on YouTube under Never Ever Give Up, Arthur. If you go to ddpyoga.com, it's the first thing that'll hit you, that video. And that video, I gave one guy hope. He's given millions hope. Just like Jake, I gave Jake hope. He saw light at the end of the tunnel, and he's given millions hope. And so is Scott now.
What's Arthur's last name?
Borman, Borman.
Okay. I'm just putting that on Twitter for directing people to the site to go watch it.
Yeah, just go to ddpyoga.com. It's right there. It's on the front page, and it'll blow your mind. If you haven't seen it yet, it went viral. And when it went viral, May of last year, I was going through TSA, and I got a text from someone saying, check your Twitter right now. And there it was. David Copperfield wrote, and this was the coolest thing ever. He wrote, stop what you're doing right now and witness real magic.
Wow.
That's awesome.
When I got off the plane, Tony Robbins, one of my mentors, just met him recently, but one of my mentors who I studied, Tony Robbins, tweeted one of the most powerful, inspiring videos I've ever seen. Starts out slow, well worth the wait.
That's awesome.
Well, did you expect when you first started this that it would blow up the way it did? Did you have any idea?
You know, when I saw how it worked for me, and I never developed this for weight loss. I developed it because I was a jock my whole life. You know, I played basketball, football, hockey, I've contact sports. Then I become a wrestler at 35, right? And, at 42, I blow my back out. Not only do I come back, but I wrestle till 46, take off 2 years, go to Hollywood, just focus on that. Then at 49, I come back for TNA, did a limited schedule, but I had some hellified matches at 49. And I'm thinking to myself, I need to develop this for the guy and now girl because, women are such great athletes too. They get beat up as we do. But what do you do when you're in your late 20s or 30s or 40s and you still want to play softball or tennis or go skiing, but you feel like you got hit by a truck the next day? Because you can't do all the running. when you're running, you're beating the hell out of your body, especially unless you're on sand, which nobody runs in. Everybody runs on cement.
Right.
I mean, your knees, your back. If it ain't hurting you out, it will be. And at some point, that's why there's so many knee replacements. Plus, horrible food. You're not putting real food in your body to help heal your body. That's the big thing I saw with Arthur. Putting real food in the body, how it will heal itself. The fake food kills you. The real food heals you. So, did I know it was going to blow up like this? I knew I had something, and it was hard to get people to really understand it because, first of all, it had yoga in it. And anybody goes, yeah, dude, but it's yoga. I go, yeah, I said that. I'm the first 42 years of my life, I'm a guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. But what I did when I put it together with the rehab and the calisthenics, I got rid of all the spiritual mumbo-jumbo. And I always say, not that there's anything wrong with that, because I totally respect my buddies who do that. Because I got friends who are all different types of yogis. And the real yogis, some people like yoga's bad boy, like he's the bad boy of yoga. Or some people go, he doesn't do yoga. I go, you're right. I do DDP yoga. It ain't your mama's yoga.
There you go.
And it's crazy. I knew it was going to go, but I didn't know how. But when I saw Arthur, and when you guys watch that video, you're going to go, oh, God, we got to get him back on. When you see that video, you're going to be like, oh, my God. Because that video was actually featured in Google's top 100 videos that they pieced little pieces together, but was so many sites, #1 most inspiring video of 2012. And people watch it like over and over and over again because it's just, God, you having a bad day? Let's look what this guy did. Oh, my God, how can I say I'm having a bad day? So, once I saw that, and then I just kept believing, and the problem is, I'm a big fan of Donald Trump as far as what he's done in his life and how he lives his life as far as, he focuses on the goal and he never quits. He wrote a book called Think Like a Winner, and I remember Barbara Walters interviewing, and he said, so let me ask you, she says, what is it, the 3 things you need to do to think like a winner? He said, well, #1 is you got to know your craft. You got to know it inside and out, upside down. And if you don't know it, you need to be on your way to knowing it better than anyone else. It was #2. You got to love it. You got to love it so much you work 24/7. You never feel like you're working. And she goes, #3? He goes, that's easy. Don't quit. And she goes, oh, come on, Donald. That's easy for you to say. You're Donald Trump. He goes, nope. He goes, I don't care who it is. Don't quit. If you really if you know it, you love it, and you believe it, don't quit. Now, if you're talking to the guy who says, I'm going to go through the wall, I'm going to go through the wall, I'm going to go through the wall, he goes, you're right, that guy should quit. He said, but if you figure out how to get over the wall or under the wall, he goes, what I've learned is one goal from one point to another is never a straight line. You're going to get knocked to the left, to the right, up, down, over, out. If you just keep moving forward and if you really believe it and you put the work in, you will get to some version of that goal. I, honest to God, have been saying, guys, for the last 4 years, and this is before it took off, I tell everybody, what happened in my career in the 90s was amazing. It was the most unbelievable thing to live the dream when wrestling was at its all-time highest, bigger than the 80s. How was that even possible? But it was happening, and I was in the middle of it all. What I did there was so cool. But what I'm doing today is so much cooler on so many different levels, and what is happening right now is going to dwarf in the next 3 years, it's going to dwarf what happened to me in the 90s. Because this is something for everyone.
Well, I tell you, brother, I wish we could have you on the show every week. I'm pumped up, man. I'm you're motivating me right now, and I'm a pretty motivated guy myself, but I'm even more motivated now. But I wanted to ask because you work with a lot of different people. A lot of athletes, celebrities, everyday people. But I know you also do some work with some mixed martial arts fighters. So can you kind of share some details as far as who you work with in that department?
Oh, sure. Did you guys know who Michael Chandler is?
Oh,
yes,
of course.
Sir. Bellator champ.
Damn right, and a good buddy of mine. And I started working with him about a year ago, and he put this in his toolbox. And, undefeated. One bad man. And one of the nice young men.
We've had him on before.
Ask him about me next time you get on, man.
Definitely.
He is a huge supporter of DDP Yoga. He's such a class act. He's the one guy that I've been working with, and I've actually worked out with him numerous times. But that's the place that I'm really looking, because I've been so busy. I've got so many. There's things I'm doing right now that I can't even talk about. The HBO, Real Sports, I can talk about that because we're just about to shoot that. But there's some things that I'm in the process of doing, like we have our infomercial, which I'm really actually calling a documercial, because it's all about inspiring stories as opposed to, hey, look at my abs. It's more about hey, look at my life. Look what I'm doing right now. Look where I came from. Like, we have this one guy right in the beginning, and you see him for a short period, but you remember him. His name is Slim Gilliam. Slim started, and his videos on YouTube, next40days.com. You want to follow a blog, follow Slim Gilliam on next40days.com. Slim started at 601 pounds.
Holy
29 years old.
Wow.
1 year, 6 weeks ago, he had his 1 year anniversary of doing DDP yoga. He lost 203 pounds.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
More importantly, one of the things you're going to see when you go to ddpyoga.com and pull up some of the transformations, or you watch that video of the disabled veteran Arthur Borman as he loses 140 pounds in 10 months, and really understand, I never, and I mean never, developed this workout for weight loss. I developed it to heal my body. You will see Arthur Borman stand on one leg with his other foot over his head on the other. Now, that's amazing, especially for a guy who couldn't walk. But at the time when he's doing it, he's under 200 pounds as he drops down to about 160 pounds. Way more impressive, Slim Gilliam, who lost 203 pounds at 398 pounds, can stand on one foot and hold either foot over his head.
Holy crap.
Jesus, that's amazing.
Strength at a whole different level, guys. And Slim's actually even though he's only down 184 pounds, because he's still a big guy, but we have him talking in the beginning of the documercial, because I'm calling it a documercial. We have him talking in the beginning because I want people to see and hear his story, where he was. And he's talking about the Arthur video. That's what he's talking about, and how it pulled him and inspired him to own his life. And he talks about this short little period, how he couldn't get up and go to the mailbox to get his mail. He was so out of shape and blown up. And he says, yesterday I ran a 5K. He's over 400 pounds and running a 5K because he does DDP yoga. And he eats real food. What a concept.
Oh, man, that's awesome. And, I also read something recently that you're doing a kind of like a blogger contest, the most inspirational DDP yoga blogger. You're giving away like $25K. Can you kind of share some more details about that?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. My partner, Steve Yu, he's an amazing cat. I started as a documentary film maker, and he literally was a big corporate dude at IBM and left that corporate gig to follow the dream of doing a movie about being inspired. And he's the one who took Arthur's video that his son had done, which is really inspiring, but put the little tweaks on it and made it go ba-boom, right? So he says we should do a contest because everybody's blogging now and give away $25,000. And let's do it like this. Let's give away $3,000 for someone who's, for the first 3 months. So that'll be September. Give away $3,000. And then let's give away another $5,000 at December, which would be 6 months. And he goes, and let's give another $5,000 away, like in June, which will be a year. And then let's watch all 3 of those bloggers. They'll all be a year by that time. And let's go back and give the number one blogger, the most inspiring blogger, another $10,000. I go, so $25,000, huh? He goes, yeah, man. He goes, they used to do it for Body for Life. They give away 25, and they built up to 100 or whatever. He goes, and they had no social media. He goes, social media is rampant. That's what it's all about. I go, that's an awesome idea. I go, we got to give it to Arthur first, though, because nobody's been more inspiring than him. We'll give his kid $5,000, and we'll give him 20 and we'll go. He goes, and let's go surprise him. I go, awesome. So that video is actually up. If you're interested in being a blogger, and you don't have to be doing the program, but you better be really inspiring. Ideally, we're looking for people who are doing DDP yoga, but are sharing their story. And it's not about how much weight you lose. It's about how do you inspire me to want to be the best it can be. But that's what we're looking for, through written copy, pictures, and video. If you want to see, go to DDPYogaChallenge.com, and you'll see us show up at Arthur's house. Make sure you watch the first video at DDPYoga.com first, so you know who Arthur is and his transformation, because us showing up at his house, you need to know that's 6 years later. This happened back in 2007. We started this journey. And this guy is sitting at his kitchen table expecting us to call him with his wife and his son, and I show up at the front door with cameras. He was scared to death, thought his wife was going to kill him because I showed up with cameras at his house unexpectedly, and I was like, Arthur, you got to trust me. Come to the light. Come to the light. And he was so scared. I could see the fear in his... This is a badass guy. Was in the military for 14 years. He don't scare easy. But his wife scared the hell out of him. His wife scared him. She's ex-military too. And she got a damn moo-moo on, man. And when they get... I'm not kidding, a moo-moo. I don't know where she found it, but she had a moo-moo on. And I'm standing there, and when he realizes that it's a check, and it took a long time to set in, I actually had to say to him, so Arthur, there's $25,000, bro. What do you think? And his expressions are priceless. There's nothing, it fits the tone of this guy. And you will laugh your ass off. I mean, it's funny, it's inspiring, and he's the first guy, to be awarded our $25,000, and we're going to do it all this year. And we invite anybody to go to DDPYogaChallenge.com and sign up and get on board, man. And I'm going to put this out there to you guys. What are you guys doing to stay in shape? What are you doing to own your lives?
Well, I got to be honest with you. I got a pacemaker. I was born with a heart condition. I had to put it when I was 3 years old, and
wow.
I was 195 pounds when I got married. I don't mind going to say what I'm at now, but I was just going to ask you, are you ever coming to? I'm in New York. I'm in Long Island. How does this work? Do you go and visit places, or is it something you do online?
It's all DVDs, and I'll tell you, here's what I'll do with both of you. If you'll actually do, you got it. I have the greatest support system ever. It's called DDP. It's called Team DDP, and I will invite you to Team DDP Yoga. And if you guys will take these 6 pictures and track yourself, because you have to know where you started. You have to set goals. You got to know where you're going if you ever want to get there. If you really, and it's not all about weight loss. I mean, again, I never did it for weight loss. I did it to heal my own body. By taking these 6 pictures, though, they're about physiology, they're about flexibility, they're about core strength. By taking these pictures, you watch the journey. Every month, your body changes. So you get the DVDs. In your case, if you guys do this and you'll track yourself, I will front them to you. If you'll do them.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I'm down.
So my girl, she's listening to this whole thing. I know you guys have been talking to her and talking to Megan, and you get her your emails, your cell phones. I'll call you both privately after this. We'll start you up, get you on. You take the pictures. You start yourself up on Team DDP Yoga. I will send you the program, and then we will start to document it. And after you've started for a month, I'll come back on in a month, and we'll see where you're at.
Hey, that sounds like a great idea. I'm down, man. Let's do it.
I'm actually texting Cynthia right now, and so I'll get with her. And I got to tell you, we usually do 15-minute interviews. This is all MMA. But after listening to you on Stone Cold Show and just watching some of your videos, I'm like, I got to get this guy on. I'm like, this. I was a big fan of yours. I was always a huge Sting fan once he turned to the black and white and everything. But I was always a big, huge fan of yours, and I've just been looking and searching for something to get. I have my treadmill here and I get on it, but it's not enough. I know I need to do more, and I got 2 young kids, a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old. My father died from a heart attack when he was 43 years old, and I need that kick in the ass. I really do. I need the accountability. Because you go nowhere without it. I mean, I know I'm a man and everything, and I should, I have only myself to blame, but I've been searching for something.
You need, hey, 2 of the baddest son of bitches on the planet, Jake Snake Roberts, Scott Hall. They needed their buddy. They needed someone that believed in them, that would help. Just get them up and get them going. You need that. Everybody needs that. And like I was telling you, that site that I set up, I mean, people, oh, God, I get choked up when I talk with people on it because I communicate with as many people as I can. I can't do it all, but I try. I try. Yeah. And MMA, to me, it's funny. I was on that where I met Chandler was I was on MMA Live with Boss, who I think, oh God, one of the greatest fighters ever. I love him.
Yes.
And I love him as a man. He's awesome. But they said, so DDP, if you weren't wrestling, he said, would you slip over to MMA? I said, first of all, if you don't have a serious pedigree in wrestling or jiu-jitsu, you ain't got a shot in this game. I said, I don't have a serious pedigree in anything. If I could go back in time as a kid like my nephew and a sister who's going to be a protege, oh my God, just remember the name Skylar Ransom because she's going to be unbelievable. I would start like they did jiu-jitsu. And I loved wrestling, but to me, I love jiu-jitsu. And I wish I could go back and have started doing that. But you can't do that. And Boss Root looks at me and he goes, DDP, I knew I loved you. He goes, that's the first time I've ever heard that question answered honestly. By one of you guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah, holy shit,
yeah.
funny.
All right, DDP, we gotta let you go. I mean, I wish we could keep you on all night, but I'm talking to Cynthia now. I'm going to send her all the information. We'll talk about it on the show. We'll have you back on.
Absolutely.
It's been not only an honor, an unbelievable pleasure. You truly are remarkable with the help that you've given to people, and just so giving of your time and your everything else. I mean, anybody could donate money and say, oh, I did this for charity, but you're doing so much more. You're saving people's lives, and there's not too many of these people in this world that could say that, and it's been an unbelievable pleasure talking to you.
Well, boys, I look forward to talking to you again. And if you really put the work in with this, I guarantee you, you're going to be trying to get every MMA guy you got. Because to me, there's the Dolce diet and there's DDP yoga. And that's two things you want in your toolbox.
There you
Hell
go.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I'm pumped up. I pretty much live in the gym, but I'm always looking for new things to keep me going. So I'm definitely down, my man.
Awesome, guys. I look forward to talking to you again.
Definitely.
All right, have a good one, brother.
Hey, guys.
Yes.
What's up?
It's been your pleasure. See ya.
See you later.
Oh, man. You are the man, sir. We appreciate it.